And welcome back to episode 52 of the Football Fanatic podcast. With me, as always, Daniel, Mossy, and Howard back with us this week. Man, how are we? We doing good?
Good
Welcome
now,
back.
Jack.
Yeah, good stuff. Did you enjoy the football over the weekend? Are you enjoying, no, actually, be more specific. Are you enjoying Manchester City's mini crisis at the
In
moment?
mind.
As he
Get
all
that,
laugh.
Galardon. I'll let you take that one.
As he all laugh. Like, do you
Yeah,
all kind of revel and do you love this? Like,
I just think it goes like that, doesn't it? When a team is doing well for a specific period of time, everyone just fucking gangs up them. I've even seen now over the last week or two, that there's an awful lot more Liverpool diets coming in now because they're going all right. So I think it just comes with the territory that once a club is going well, everyone else just jumps on it. So and we'll enjoy it while it lasts because it probably won't last that long going by previous City
we'll get in.
experiences. But we'll
We'll
yeah.
get into that, I suppose. If you want to call, I don't know, whatever City's form at the moment as well. Like Arsenal, they're still, like, I know, like they've kind of stopped whatever it was, but it's still. I thought they were going to win yesterday. I thought not Gabriel, apologies, Martinelli, I thought it was going to be 1-0, and then they went and Neto kind of spoiled the party. What's the story with Arsenal at the moment, Howard? Are you
Um,
confident? Paul Merson says if you go 12 points behind, it's good night,
yeah,
Irene.
sure. Everyone says, yeah, everyone has a deadline of amount of points that they need.
Yeah.
I think, like, I think we were fortunate enough to get the 3 points yesterday. The killer for me wasn't so much the Neto goal, was that chance at the end that
Oh
Havertz,
yeah, yeah, Trossard.
just
Yeah.
took the ball off his foot like he was. It was just, it's like one of them things that just things just haven't been. We're just missing a bit of that kind of the look of the Irish or whatever you want to say it
Of course, yeah.
for to get it over the line. So that would have been a lovely win, like against them that blue side of London that no one likes. But no, I think I honestly, this is my honest view. I think Arsenal will still win the league. Still pretty
Oh my
confident.
God.
I
Jesus
know
Christ.
it's hard to believe. I suppose the way I look at it is, we if you look at the fixtures that we've had and compare them to the results we had last year. So yeah, so I suppose as I was saying there, like we could end up if we look at the fixtures that we had this time last year against the ones that we
Yeah.
had this season, like say, so like let's say Villa, Liverpool, Chelsea, City away, all them games, like we're about 4 points worse off this season than we were in them same fixtures last season. So not a huge gulf. I know we're 9 points behind Liverpool, but I think we dropped 4 points against we dropped more than 4 points. We dropped 5 points against Fulham last year, and we dropped 3 points against West Ham in the London Stadium. So I think like they're hopefully points that we'd pick up this time around. And
You genuinely do think you'll still win it?
I genuinely think Arsenal will still win the league.
Fair play.
It's not like a clouded biasness. I genuinely think like we played all like apart from Liverpool, we played all the tough teams away from home, like and we've got 8 points out of 15, I think, in them games. So like not great, but not terrible. And I genuinely think like we're like we don't have much room for mistakes, but we can still lose points in maybe five more games. Like I think like personally it'll be around 85, 90 mark will be the points total, I think, at the end of the season. I don't like Arsenal if they win the rest of their games, I think there's 101 or 102 points they can get. So I still think they can drop another 12, 14 points and win the league. I genuinely think like I think if you hit 85, 86, I think this season
I don't know whether to take you seriously or if you're
well, do you not think
head in the clouds type thing. I
well,
don't
what do
know.
you
Like,
think? What do you think the points total will be
I
this
agree
year?
it'll be lower. I do
Yeah.
agree with that one.
So,
But
like
I just
from
But
that
your
rhetoric,
rationale is based though around points, the points tally from last year.
and
That's the rationale.
the games you
no,
have to play.
there's two things. Yeah, one is that like we're supposed 4 points worse off against in the same fixtures that we had last
Yeah,
season
yeah.
against the same
Okay.
teams. Um,
Playing well though. you were playing well last season. Go on though.
Oh yeah, we were playing well last season, but like I still
Yeah,
we haven't hit. Oh look, we haven't hit the heights, but so we haven't had Odegaard, we haven't had that midfield.
yeah, yeah.
We have Saka. We've had Saka in and out of the team. I think realistically, if we look, I'm basing it on the fact that I'm I'm hoping that we're just going to go on a massive run, but I think this team is well capable of doing it,
Well, did you
and I expect
see like yesterday versus Chelsea? Like, did you see anything that led you to believe that you will win the league?
I think like I don't think we were terrible yesterday,
No, you
but
weren't terrible, definitely not. But I don't
I
think
don't
you were
know.
at the heights that
I
you
don't
can
know.
get
We weren't
either.
on the highest, but you have to remember, like Odegaard's been out for whatever 12, 13 games. Like it's his first game back. I thought he was actually really good
He
first
was,
first
yeah.
game back.
Mm.
Got the assist.
Um, I got the assist, and but he still wasn't at his premium level. Like Declan Rice was going around with a broken foot. Like so,
Yeah.
like it wasn't perfect or anything like that. But we definitely have a few more gears to go,
I
and I
don't.
think
I
and
know.
it
I accept that. Like the
yeah
matches that you have played, you have had tougher fixtures probably than other teams around you. Fair enough.
yeah.
But I suppose with Saka and Rice, I mean,
Like put it this
Arteta
way,
was.
Deck. I think we'll beat Liverpool in Anfield when it comes around to in the next round of fixtures. I honestly think we
We have
will
them
be.
next.
No,
No,
in the
but
next.
rationale again, please.
Yeah, rationale is that Liverpool are going to fall off the horse. Everyone's going to know. Everyone's going
Right,
to know.
okay.
Like the slot thing is great. I said it at the very start of the season. I said slot will they'll have a really good start to the season. But I feel like they'll fall off a bit, and I don't want to be going down the Liverpool bandwagon, but I just think like it is when you're a new manager coming in, and I could be completely wrong, but when you're a new manager coming in, like teams don't know how to play you. They've seen you in Feyenoord managing them, but they've never actually played against you. An opposition manager has never played against a slot team. So like once they've done that once, there is a level of okay, well, we know what he's going to come with next time. Now he could change it or whatever, but we know in the second leg of the fixture, let's say, we know what he's going to come with, and there could be a level of well, maybe they're getting found out a bit more. Maybe the teams know how to play them against them a bit more. So that's what I'm look. That's what I'm hoping for, I suppose,
Okay. All right.
rather than it's definitely going to happen. But this is what I'm hoping for. Um,
Before Dan,
You're an engineer, aren't you?
yeah, yeah. Well,
Your
look,
foundations are very fucking unhinged
Well,
here now.
before we
look,
give
I
Dan the
just
chance,
one last thing
yeah,
that it's just like I feel that like when you have had like that them hard fixtures that we had, like the opposite of that is having easier fixtures. And if you can get a run of easier fixtures and keep going and going and going, it does build momentum. You know what I mean? Like rather
of
than
course,
having,
yeah.
when you're building momentum, then all of a sudden you have a City away and a Newcastle away and a Chelsea away or something like that. It does stop you and it takes you a while to get that momentum back. I think having them games over and done with, even though we didn't get maybe the most out of them, I still think we will be there. We'll be thereabouts. I think near the end of the season.
Okay, no, fair point. Moss, I'm going to get your feedback first, and then I want to go to Dan. Um, Moss, what do you think
on
about
on
Howard
on
and about
Howard's
Howard's
claims.
kind of claim that he's very confident they'll win the title?
Confident.
Yeah, I don't share his level of confidence. Um, I take on board. I do think yeah they'll have a run of easier fixtures and they will build momentum for a problem. But I just think they're still lacking that little bit up front. Um, they're not scoring enough goals, and the foundation was that they were being really solid defensively, and they are leaking a lot more this year, even with Saliba and Gabriel playing. Like, and Neto's goal was excellent. But it's just been a lot of cases like that where they've conceded a goal where you wouldn't really expect them to, and they're just not firing on all cylinders going forward. And although Martinelli was quite good um, against Chelsea, I feel like he's not quite Darren Nunes' level of missing, but he's kind of along the same. He's not clinical enough for what Arsenal need going forward, and the players that they brought in terms of um, uh, what's his name, Raheem Sterling. He hasn't really offered anything. Like he hasn't really been in the team. He was brought in, and like I kind of did expect Arteta to kind of get him a
Yeah,
bit more towards his City levels than
Yeah.
his Chelsea levels,
he hasn't
and
really
those
used them
disciplines.
though, has he?
No, no.
No, but I presume that's reflective of his performance in training. Like,
Mm.
Yeah.
he would be there if he thought he was good enough, like, or that he was performing at a high enough level. I just have concerns in relation to that. I think having Odegaard obviously is a massive boost, but like Liverpool have answered every question that they've been asked of them so far. Really, this is supposed to be their hard run of fixtures, and they've gone from strength to strength. They're inevitably going to have a blip. And I do think Howard has a point that teams will figure them out. But if you take this week's game as an example, they played basically two different games in each half. They were very countered, like Klopp style, helter skelter, I thought, of it in the first half. And then the second half was way more control. And they've done that a couple of different games where they've nearly played two different styles. And it shows that he's implementing that variation in their game to adapt to different games. And he's made very astute changes to counteract what other teams have tried to do against them, and they have responded well. Inevitably, there's going to be a blip, and that will, as I said previously, I think that will be when it will be a bit of a test. But like they have a bit of a cushion to figure out, navigate that test, and still be in a strong position. So I still think the league as it is now, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the top three was the way it finished.
Okay, interesting. And now, Dan, your response to Howard's claim and Massey's feedback.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with Massey there. I think more than Howard on most stuff that was said. But I'll start with like the first part about the points thing. So like obviously, I think that like it could finish as Massey said, it could finish the way it is now. It could still finish with Arsenal on top, Liverpool third, City second, and it could finish with City, and you know what I mean. It could definitely all of them options on the table. So Howard's not wrong; they can win the league title. But just the basis of the argument for them would be the question mark. Like their stats, like where the figures on the points might suggest that they're not too far off, but the stats wouldn't necessarily show that because they're leaking an awful lot more goals, also giving up an awful lot more chances. And the stats this season show that when they go away from home this season, they're playing a lot deeper and they're being very, very conservative. And for whatever reason, they're not going on their front foot. And to watch them, they're not. I said it a few weeks ago. They're not good to watch. Like even yesterday, I thought that at times Chelsea's midfield, the more than when they came to Anfield, that midfield is midfield with a new manager that's a couple of months in the making, and they were playing a project that's 5 years going now at this stage at Arteta. And like it was Chelsea, I thought that at times were in control of the game and played some really good stuff. And I was surprised that Arsenal didn't go on their win. I thought that might be the one that would get them the kind of kickstart, go there and to win.
Yeah.
And they did have a chance, fair enough, at the end that they could have won it, but I don't think they were worthy of a win to win the game. I thought a draw was probably a fair result
I agree.
On reflection.
Yeah.
So they're just still off it. Odegaard's brilliant. We talk about
but
him.
Like,
He's
you
so
have to
good.
remember, Dan,
So,
like we drew 2-2 last year, and we were probably looking to get a draw in Stamford Bridge. You know, we were apparently, you know, we're flying. So like I'm just looking like we didn't play. You're playing a further back line of defense and all that. We, you know, we had the sending offs and all that. We agreed it haven't been playing that well, but like if you do look at the away fixtures they had, like it's pretty insane. You know what I mean?
How are the favorite? Yeah, but the thing is, you're saying that, but Arsenal were favourite for every single game they played this season. Bar the City match, they were probably favourite for every other game. So you can say like the fixtures were difficult, but Arsenal was the favourite to win online games. So
yeah,
no, I mean, like
I get that, but like you're not going to win. Like you know, City and Liverpool are going to be the same boat. Like they're not going to win all them games. You know what I mean? They're not. They could be favourites for. They could be favourites against Newcastle, or they could be favourites against Chelsea, and you know, there's a good chance they wouldn't win the game. Like
yeah, but I'm just saying that the games that you have, like the ones that you know, Arsenal are going to be favourite for most of the games that they play. So they haven't. Where some fixtures might have been slightly more difficult. I don't agree that they were like they're at the end of the day, from where you were last season to where you are now, regardless of the points.
Well, that's what I said. 4 points difference. Like 4 points is the difference. Yeah, actually, one of the big ones was actually not beating Liverpool in an Emirates. Like we last year we bet Liverpool in the Emirates, and that would be an extra 2 points. And we bet Villa in Villa Park this year, but we didn't beat them. We lost against them last year. We lost to Newcastle last year. We lost them again this year. We beat Tottenham away. We beat them last year again. So like there is City. We drew against City last year. But like it's just when you tot up all them points against, you know, where we are at the moment, it just doesn't give you a huge point tally. You know what I mean? Which is the problem.
If you were to look at it as it is, though, are Chelsea third?
Chelsea are same on points.
19 points.
Yeah, both
like,
19.
Are Chelsea in like the title race? If we're considering Arsenal being in the title race,
I think
they're
so.
on the same number of points. They have to be considered.
I just don't think,
as much as Arsenal, we might say Arsenal weren't on top here. Chelsea are home. Chelsea are playing great football. Like that midfield is strong. You can see the defense is improving as a bit of Fofana and
I think so.
kind of building a bit of a partnership. And Lavia and Caicedo Caicedo started looking like the player that they wanted when they bought him. Like,
Yeah,
and
fair
that
Mm.
point.
midfield is very impressive. And then they've got a host of options up front. Like you're talking, you could take the front three off, and they're equal, if not better, quality coming on. Like
Mm.
they have to be interested, like because they can afford injuries as well. Like, they've got options across the board, and
Neto's very
like
good as well. Neto's very good.
Neto was
Like
very good, especially
I,
when they switched from sides. He
I
was
suppose
really
no one's
incisive.
talking about them Ozzy because they haven't been up there in the last 2 years. That's probably why they haven't getting a look at
They
that
haven't
in that
been
in
they,
that
yeah, they
aspect.
haven't
But
been third in the last. I think it's the first time they were third in 2.5 years.
Now,
They haven't
hold
been
on,
third.
hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
I
but
think that
I don't think they are title
I
contenders. Go
know
on ahead.
I'd agree as well. How I don't think they are as well. But the fact that I suppose they are there, Moss, you made a very good point there yesterday. The difference between third and 13th is 4 points.
Yeah,
So I mean that's
crazy.
they're very close to like 13th place as well as they are to
Yeah,
third.
it's tight
Yeah.
there,
You know,
isn't it?
like it's very
Giving
very
me
tight.
hope,
And
so it is, Deck. So it is.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, I know. But Dan and I were I was only looking at the table talking to Dan before we came on, and like I couldn't believe it. Like, you're right. There are 4 points between United and 13th, and third place, which is ridiculous. So I mean, one kind
Yeah.
of game of turning. I mean, you could be up in third or fourth and fifth. So you know,
The thing is with them though is that they like again if you're looking at it on the eyes of what you're watching, like the Marescas come in there, they know what they're about. They're probably Achilles heel for them is that they have a goalkeeper that can't play out from the back, and the back four that probably aren't that comfortable playing out from the back. Outside of that though, the actual foundation of the rest of their team is quite good. And the fact that Maresca goes and plays nearly a second 11 in Europe, he's pretty much keeping most of them fresh for the Premier League matches. So like I think the season that it is, there's a possibility that if Liverpool do have a blip, which will come at some stage, and City and Arsenal continue to kind of be inconsistent, you can't rule them out. Because it could just be one of them weird seasons. I know Howard was talking about the points tallies and where he thinks they might be, but it might not necessarily be as high as you might think because this season as well, it looks like whether or not there's inconsistencies, but also that a couple of the other teams that are kind of like of a Bournemouth, Forest, whatever like that. Newcastle again look like they're coming back into like there's going to be tough games along the way.
yeah.
That there might be more points dropped from the top team. So I wouldn't rule them out. But I think at the moment to come out and say that I'm confident Arsenal still win the league title based on a draw away at Chelsea and based on their last
It's
few
not.
performances.
I'm not basing it on that. I just think. I'm not. I think they can still do it. I'm not saying
They
it's
can, of
definitely going to
course.
happen, and I still think they can do it. And yeah. I don't. As I said, like, yeah, it's not like the results at the weekend. I'm like, oh, we're definitely going to win the league or anything. But like, it's what the crucial thing is. We cannot afford, like as you said, Mossy. Liverpool have a cushion now. We don't have that cushion. We can't afford Odegaard to be missing for another 2 months or something like that. But that's it gone. Like, we are at like the very end now of like we cannot fuck up anything for in any aspect. We can't get any more 10 men on the pitch. It has to be perfect. Like, so, but I still
And I
think
actually
it's
think that
possible.
would be one of my reasons why I think they're out of it because they seem to have played under such pressure from the start of the season. It felt like they were feeling the weight of the expectation that this was their year. And they have had bad luck as well. I will acknowledge that they've seen injuries and some very controversial decisions. But like,
Bet he
I
destroyed
don't
you
think
last year.
Arsenal, I don't think Arsenal will respond well to knowing that they cannot lose points.
Howard,
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, and that's a good point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll see. Like it's. I suppose there's no other option. But like,
Howard,
yeah, that,
Howard, Howard. I
yeah.
think Manchester City mentally broke you last year.
Yeah, or maybe vice versa. Maybe you're feeling it this year after that title race
How did
last
you
year.
break us last year? I mean, we took.
By just pushing you so
Just
far,
pushing and
Okay,
pushing and pushing.
we've been
pushing
Yeah,
Rodri to go around with a
yeah,
dodgy knee.
we've been pushed and pushed for years, and thankfully we've come out on top in all bar one of the seasons. But okay, so a quick word on Liverpool United's games before I want to chat about City and their current blip. Dan, you were happy with Liverpool at the weekend, obviously.
yeah. Look, again, this tough run of fixtures again. Even though same point, Liverpool are favourite most of the games that they play as well. So if you want to win a league title, you should be able to go away to these places and get results. But yeah, of course, it was Villa are a challenging side. Seem to be going through it small, but I think again as well themselves. Maybe it's the 2 games a week that seems to be a bit of a problem. We did say at the start of the season that their squad was a bit light, and maybe that is the case. And then if Tyrone Mings doing what he was doing in Europe during the week, that's not
Madness.
going to help you out either. But yeah, you'd
What do you
imagine
think of
Emery
that?
would steady. Well,
Ridiculous.
I think he made a mistake. I think Pyro Mings is a liability, and I've said it here on the pod before. So, I think he made a mistake though, obviously, but it was like he had to be done for that. Like I
Of
think.
course,
But anyway, just on them, I think they're going through bit of a just a bit of a blip, but I think they're Emery would steady the ship there. And look, yeah, we're just grinding out results. Just I suppose the momentum is there, and then when you're seeing teams around you dropping points, I think that gives you an extra boost. I think it gives the fans, I think the atmosphere. The Leverkusen game was the one for me, though. I think so far this season, we're just that flick of the switch in the last half hour against them. They'd only lost two of their
yeah.
last 60 games, and to do what we did to them, I think was a bit of a statement as well. So yeah, they're going well. I think
I
Trent's injury's not too bad as well, and then we play City in a couple of weeks. I think, to be honest with you, I think if they keep the momentum going, it's a pity that the international break has come. I think for them
yeah.
because I think if we played City like next week, we'd definitely beat them. Where international break, and then we come back after it, you're kind of trying to build up ahead of steam again. You don't know what way players will come back, especially the ones that are away in South America. You know, they're out, they're gone a bit longer to get back into the team and just the rhythm of everything. So I do think that the international break has come at a bad time for Liverpool, a good time for City. But I think that might be the big one in a couple of weeks if I think Arsenal have to play Forest, which won't be an easy game for them.
Yeah.
But
I'm
if it
actually going to
comes,
that game.
oh, yeah, yeah, very good.
Going over to that, yeah.
Uh,
It would
but
be,
I
yeah,
think
it'd be
if
a tough game. Yeah.
yeah, I think if Liverpool were to go and beat City at
Actually,
Anfield,
that's my question, Dan. So
yeah,
right now, out of 100 percentage, what would you give Liverpool winning the title? Right now, today, like,
percent.
and then
Oh,
I'm
but
on.
it's only 11. Yeah, it's 11 because it's 5 points ahead of City. Like, so it's not like that five. Then because it's five, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Five at the moment, so it'll become eight. Potentially could become eight if things are as they stand, and we were to beat them. So, like, you're looking at eight. Like, what you'd probably say, maybe 60, between 60, 70% chance anyway. You give them at the
Okay.
moment, given.
And if it became eight, if you did beat City,
Yeah, I still think like I think I know it's an old phrase it's used. It's really cliche one, but it is very true. Like, you can't win a title in at like Christmas, but you can lose one. So I think that
Yeah.
if you're Liverpool and you were sitting top at Christmas with a 5 or 8 point lead, and if they're continuing to not concede, like again, they've still only conceded 6 goals, and that's what I'll come back to. Is that they can continue to grind out results and they're keeping it tight at the back. Like, they've got every chance of keeping it going as things
oh,
stand, given if everyone stays fit. But like you can't like you know what City are going to do after Christmas. So I can't say here. I've seen it so many times. This is the thing. Liverpool have done this before. You have to remember we've been in this position, being in and around it, and then there has been a drop off or a bad decision. Like we lost two league titles based nearly on one decision. So like I no doubt the City will come back into it. I would imagine. Arsenal if
Depends,
they
I
can't.
think. That I think it depends what to do in the January market. I think they need if they get someone like Iman Zubimendi or someone in midfield like a Rodri-esque player, then I think they could go on a run. But I don't think that City at the moment, that same team will do what they do every year.
No, they
And
mightn't. They
uh,
mightn't. But it's
and
just
teams know now they're not invincible, like you know what I mean. So I
yeah, yeah.
think that there will be a level of that they won't have that fear factor. I think in the second. Now that'll depend on January. I think. Go on,
just
sorry.
actually,
Yeah, and
just on
yeah.
that, I suppose, like, you might as well look at City now. I suppose 2-1 loss to Brighton again. That's four in a row. Carabao Cup, Champions League, two in the league. Is it just a blip? Are we just waiting for players to come back, or is there more to it, do you think? Moss, I'll get your view first.
Yeah, look, it's hard. It's first time in Guardiola's entire coaching career that's happened. Like, so it is obviously hard to quantify what it actually means. But you are looking at quite a depleted squad. You are looking at an aging squad, which looks like a bit of a factor. Um, the decision to sell Alvarez is looking more and more like a poor decision because he gave that alternative option to Haaland. Is it a crisis? By Guardiola standards, it probably is. It's never happened before. It's not something you associate with City, but it is across three competitions. So Carling Cup or the Carabao Cup, they don't really. That's grand. That's fine. With the league system, you can probably get away with it in Europe. The two in the league, the fact there's two in the league is probably starting to get a bit of a problem. But I think the international break gives them a bit of time for
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne to get a little bit fitter. Kyle Walker to get back because they're missing that recovery pace massively, which although he's probably lost a small bit, it still has in a bucket loads of pace to cover. I think Oscar Bob, they reckon he'll be back in the next couple of weeks. We should have a bit more depth in midfield. And Savino and Doku or Grealish having them.
Grealish, yeah, it's like it's just like there's lots of them. There's little niggles, and one thing he does,
Yeah,
I think he's has players on the bench like Ake and Akanji were on
Yeah,
the
I
bench at
what's
the
the story
weekend.
there? Like that seems
not
like
fully
a
fit.
real Pep
They can't, yeah,
arrogant. We can
they,
win the game without having any of our back. like they're playing. I thought that was a bit kind of
I don't think
Brighton
like
away
they,
is not easy. Like
no, not at all. But they couldn't have been fit. He
I
like
don't
yeah,
think they're fit. I think
be on the
he's really
bench
making
though.
up numbers on the bench.
on,
Like
yeah, literally that. In my
Yeah.
opinion, that's exactly what he was doing to make up
It
numbers
felt
for the
like
win.
Kevin De Bruyne was that as well for about 2 or 3 games,
They may
where he
have,
wasn't brought
yeah,
on
they
and
may
brought
have
on for 2 minutes.
20 minutes in them, but like by no means they could play a full game. Hence
Yeah.
they played Simpson.
The one I would really be
Simpson.
concerned. I think if you get Diaz back, I think that'll
Yeah,
make a massive difference. I think he's probably his absence is in that centre defence
yeah.
is huge, and
What
he's a
injury does he
leader
have?
on the pitch.
Dan isn't
Like,
having that at all, but I
no,
disagree. I think he's very important. I know he's
I
not
don't
this
think I don't
world-class
think
player,
he's
but
technically the most amazing Denton, but what I'm saying is he is an organizer and he's
organized, yeah,
loud and
definitely.
he's a leader on the
who's
pitch.
that? Sorry,
And
Moss.
Diaz.
I think Diaz.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no. What I'm not having is the thing. Like Ake was on the bench against Sporting. He didn't play. So like,
But
you
that's
know
what
what
I
I mean?
mean. Like, what do you call like? I
Why?
don't think they're fit at all.
But he played 70 minutes against Bournemouth the week before. Like,
Maybe you should. Yeah, no, no. That was
no,
one of them.
I'm not
Like
having.
he,
I'm not having this. I'm not anything against what Moss said about Diaz. I just can't have this kind of thing of that players aren't that they don't have players that aren't fit. Like they've rotated their squad
hmm.
since the start of the season quite well. If you remember, he didn't start the fucking English lads that came back late. They came into the team late, and now they're getting a run of games. Like so, they basically should be fresh now because they have to fucking start the season.
But if
So
they're
I just
injured,
like,
but if they're injured though, like, what can you do about that?
but they're back. They're back playing.
They're back, but are they fully fit
They're
now?
not. They're
That's the
not
thing.
just.
Like,
Yeah, probably fair, right? Okay. Like City, if you think about it as well, City in most games dominate the ball. Like if all teams as well, they're not a Liverpool that they go and they're going gung ho fucking hell for leather. If they control game, their centre back should be able to fucking sit there, no bother, and do fuck all. Like Liverpool's doing this season. So I'm not having this whole thing. Players aren't fresh and Jesus. If I hear Pep talk one more time about fucking injuries, like I'm not having it at all. Like, fair enough. The back line in particular at the weekend is fairly weak looking. Considering you're playing Kyle Walker, who's a right back and centre back, alongside Simpson. I refer to his name as Poussey. Apparently, it's
yes,
Poussey.
yes,
Simpson Poussey. So and then like Lewis, who's been playing most of the season, Lewis has been playing. So I can't accept that the level of performances that they're putting in. Like, and they have had spells where they look good in games as well. But that you can kind of put it all down to injuries. Like they didn't have De Bruyne for most of last season. They did something about De Bruyne. They've won league titles with De Bruyne fucking a leg hanging off, couldn't play for fucking 3 or 4 months. So like I
But
just
you're also comparing what
and
Phil
they've missed
Foden
him.
was in. Like Phil Foden is way off it, and whatever
He's way
they have
off
in the
it.
back.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and like they're dominating the ball, and they probably should have like they could have scored goal. They should have put Sporting away in the first half. They should have put
yeah.
Bournemouth away in the first half. They should have put Brighton away in the first half. And they're just not no one else is chipping in with goals. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
but it's
play.
not
usually you
fitness,
expect Silva
Moss.
to pick up a few or
Yeah, but it's not fit. I mean, I said this last week. Like they're relying on Haaland at the moment because they're not getting the likes of Savino or like they got a random brace from Kovacic a couple of weeks ago. But like the other players aren't chipping in. But I'm not putting that down at this stage to 11 games in down to fully like just down to fitness of the players. I don't know.
and
Yeah,
physicality though. Like as in when Brighton bred the change and brought on the young fella in midfield, Bella or Babe, I'm not sure
yeah,
how
yeah,
you
yeah,
pronounce it.
Alaba. Yeah.
Um,
yeah. They went
Balaba.
more attacking to
He
go one of the
took
defensive fielders. Yeah,
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 he was physical in that midfield. He broke things up, and he really was
yeah.
dynamic in that second half. And Brighton were very, very impressive, I thought, in the second half. And they
Mm,
should have scored more. Like, they created an awful lot of chances. So, look, Brighton is no easy place to go. And they play like second halves of Brighton at home. They really can turn on the side. They're a
yeah.
quality team. It's
And
just, I
Rodri's a
think,
big miss. He's a big
Rodri's
miss.
a
Like,
big miss, yeah. And
yeah,
no
he
matter
is.
how like
Yeah.
Kovacic is a good player, but he's just not Rodri standard. And
No.
he's been asked to cover the whole ground that Rodri's doing. And Rodri's probably one of the only players in the world that could do what he was doing. I think City are going to improve. There's no way the players with the quality players they have, they're not going to start fighting in form. It's just if Liverpool keep going on this level of perfection that they seem to be hitting week on week, are City going to be too late by the time they start to find their feet? But you do expect them to get their stuff together in December and go on a run in January of
They'll
40,
probably
50
buy
games
as
away.
well. I think at this
They
stage it
possibly
looks
could.
like they might.
Yeah.
They might buy
It
in
will
January, I
be
think.
interesting to see because this Pep decision about whether he stays or not usually comes in the
Yeah.
November, start December. And if they hit January, who's signing the players? Like it's a new sport, there's
Yeah.
a new director coming in, and
Yeah.
who's going to be the coach? And I think that uncertainty there and the charges and stuff, maybe that will be an influence as to
Yeah.
what happens in January too.
You want
But
a relegation clause if you're going anywhere near City.
absolutely,
That's just honestly though, like that's just
What do you
Man,
think,
genuinely.
Jack,
man,
though? You haven't really said anything already about it. What do you
yeah, I'm
think?
listening. I'm listening to you to see what you think. I think that there is more to it than injuries. I do think they're playing their part, but I do think that there is uncertainty in the club at the moment, uncertainty around Pep and his future, and that comes back to I think uncertainty around the whole case that's going on at the moment.
Mm.
I think the verdict in the case they say it's going to be given by the end of the year. So I mean that's not exactly a million miles away. So I mean that'll kind of give a lot of clarification of what is going on in the club when that is published. So it's either we're going to be punished because we're guilty, we're going to be innocent, so everything is kind of done and dusted. And hopefully after the international break, players will be back, they'll be fitter. We can get our kind of more kind of players back on the team. Stones, Diaz, De Bruyne. I think the international thing has come at the perfect time. I was saying that to you, Dan, as
Yeah,
well
it
at the
has.
weekend because I mean
Mm.
we have Spurs at home. I mean they're not going great shapes at the moment either. But if we had to play them next Saturday, I wouldn't be that confident with the way we're playing at the moment. We're playing shit. I mean, we're not taking our chances. We're letting goals slip in.
Are these
Just
players going away, though? I'd be interested in that as well, like on the whole fitness thing. Like, are the players that he's saying aren't fit at the moment, are they going in international? You wonder. Are
well,
the
actually, no, that's a fair point because
That's as well.
Grealish
You
is
know.
taking on international duty, and I mean
Yeah, yeah,
he's not fit. So I mean, I actually must look at that. Like, who is going on international duty? Because if they are, and like they're supposedly in this not fit category, well, then it's a bit of a joke. So I mean, like I'm annoyed about it, but I'm not overly worried because
Yeah, Grealish isn't travelled. Hasn't travelled.
yeah.
as you
Just
know,
look it
okay,
up there,
fair
yeah.
enough. No, like
Or Phil Foden.
really
Foden's
something's going
taken.
on with Phil Foden. I don't know what the hell it is, but like there's something there
Something
with
weird
Phil
going on
Foden.
there,
I told
Uh,
you, Jack. It's glandular fever. I told
yeah, is that bandage he's wearing on his hand? There's something going on there. He's been wearing it for fucking months.
you.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with City, but 4 games on the bounce we've lost in a row. That hasn't happened to Guardiola in a lot ever. Has it ever?
ever.
you.
I know three did happen, but
He looks a bit rattled, doesn't he? Though he does look like he usually is
he's
cool enough,
he's a
but
little bit
he's pissed
spiky.
off. You can
He's a
see
little
it. Yeah,
spiky in interviews. I mean, you had Bernardo Silva coming out
yeah.
saying they're in a dark place.
He
Haaland
looks
is
so
getting,
depressed.
yeah, Haaland is getting, and no, you can see like he's getting frustrated. He's kind of picking fights with Brighton players. Um, it'd be interesting in 2 weeks' time see what the team is like against Spurs at home, and it'll be the perfect setup for Liverpool the following week. If we go and beat Spurs at home, and all of a sudden it puts a whole new kind of face on the Liverpool game, we're going to Anfield, so I mean that's tough enough as it is. If we go and we lose a fifth one against Spurs, I mean confidence could be like in all
Is
of
that where is
Guardiola's.
that?
Spurs is at
Home,
home, we're at home,
yeah.
and then Liverpool away then the following week. But I mean, if we were to kind of drop points against Spurs at home, so I mean, you're going into that Liverpool game with like their like confidence is flying. We're like confidence will be
Yeah.
low. So I mean, we'll be there for the taking, surely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big kind of 2 weeks to see who they can get back in, get them on the training pitch, just start working on the basics again, and hopefully get the defense back in shape. And Simpson, look, he could be a good player for the future, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think Liverpool also have Madrid before they play City, like a couple of
Okay,
days
fair
before.
enough.
So, that'll obviously be a big one as well. I think City are home as well. I think they have Champions League home game as well. It's a Feyenoord. I think they play as
Yes,
well.
yeah, yeah, you're right.
After the first one back, but
I
look,
mean,
I just do think I expect them to go well to get back going the way that they usually do. As Massey said there, though, depending just on how much of a fall there is back, like how many points
yeah,
they made behind. But it wouldn't get around to City go to Anfield and win either. Like you know what I mean? Like we're playing in some games we're playing quite well, in other games it's patchy enough. Like, but it's more we've been grinding out results. We haven't played actually that well in a few of the games, but I suppose, look, we'll see how the international break goes. Fucking international break,
Yeah,
and
no, someone's bound to get injured of each of our
yeah,
teams
that's what I
at the
mean.
end
You
of the
don't
day.
like see how that looks when they all come back as
Uh,
well. Yeah,
all right.
I read, just before you move on, Deck,
Yeah.
I read one interesting stat for Dan to add a bit of pressure to his Liverpool team. Only
yeah,
seven teams, Liverpool are the seventh team to have this lead at this stage of a Premier League season. All previous six won the league.
yeah.
Fair enough. Who will
There
be
you
You'd
go.
top
hate
of
that,
it?
You'd hate that, Mossy.
Here's
I can
another
see it
here's
in
another
you.
good stat.
I know.
Here's another good stat. Liverpool were 5 points ahead of Arsenal in February last year, and they
Yeah,
lost by 7 points by the end of the
yeah.
season. So there's another fun stat.
And it can happen. That's what I mean. Like there
12
isn't,
point swing, like.
there isn't anything won
Uh,
at this time of the year, but it is interesting. I can see it in Mossy's eyes, and I have a few other United fans in particular who love chiming in now around Liverpool because they're going well at the moment. So it's nice
Well,
to see them come
supportive of you,
out.
Dan, to be fair, like,
Huh?
it basically said you were going to win the league, like.
Yeah.
It is
But
it is interesting though, Dan. Like, like slot, like we haven't seen him in the face of adversity yet. You know what I mean? We haven't seen him. How do like they will go on a blip, and how will he react, and how will the players
yeah,
look at him in a way? Does he react in a weird way that they don't like, or you know what I mean? There's all these anomalies that you just don't know what's going to
yeah.
happen until they get that blip and
You
they
could
see the
argue
react.
that they had the blip. They lost at home against Nottingham Forest, and then they haven't lost since.
That's
Who
I wouldn't call
knows?
that much of a blip now.
Who knows? I know.
But
I
you know
mean,
what?
like,
I'm here sitting optimistically here going, Amran's going to come in. We're 4 points off third. We're going to come third, lads. We're going to come top four.
yeah.
Speaking on
Uh,
like year weekend, Moss, just a very quick word on Van Nistelrooy's last game. Would you have
yeah,
kept him
look,
on in the backroom team?
I think it would have just been creating a problem from day one. We should
Yeah.
learn from our mistakes in the summer when we keep people on when we shouldn't. So
Fair
Would
I
you
enough.
think
kept him as manager, Moss?
no,
No, okay.
No.
no, no. Now, to be honest, I don't have a lot of time for him, and I don't understand why United fans do. He left in a pretty fucking controversial
Oh,
circumstances, pushed for a
oh
move
yeah,
to go to
true. Yeah,
Madrid,
yeah.
and I was like, "Fuck off with yourself." So,
Very true.
and then he admitted in an interview with Andy Mitten a couple of years ago that it was a mistake, and he regretted it. And after that, Alex Ferguson read the interview and reached out to him, and they kind of put it behind them, kind of way.
And made up,
And
did
then
it?
it made it up. And I think he kind of saw it coming back as a way of a bit of a redemption arc to a little bit. And he got his 4 games or 5 games. He did a great job. Exactly what you would have wanted out of him. He stayed with the ship. The ship. They got a couple of points on the board in the league. Undefeated this time with just a draw. Like,
Yeah.
so like yeah, look, he did it. First win in Europe. So look, he did what you wanted to do. What I wanted from. But it was pretty apparent that he was going by after the game. He went around all around the Stretford end, taking applause from the crowd, etc. It kind of was clearly much like I'm not. He's going to be going,
I
and it
think
was confirmed.
it's
Then it's
I think
confirmed this evening that he's moving on.
I think it's a good idea that like your man is coming in, bring in your own staff. Don't have any
Yeah,
kind of
definitely.
hangers on from previously.
No.
Even Radcliffe telling Ferguson to leave in his ambassador role type thing. Yes, it's cutthroat and all that, but I mean, get rid of
I
this,
think
you
I
know,
think it had to be done because it felt like it was hovering in the background of the
yeah,
legend Ferguson and
this
this.
old ghost looking over your club just no.
Then you can argue that Ferguson had it
He's still
charging
alive,
up
like.
above, so you don't know, like
Yeah, I know, yeah.
yeah. Well, look, he did everything he wanted from. It was a great way to finish off 3-0 win. That was probably
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes is finding a bit of form. Casemiro seems to be loving post Ten Hag life and is. I think with football, Agarte is really starting to come into his own. He'd 8 turn tackles to turn leading to turnovers, which is some Premier League record in a game. Yeah, look, there's some positives there. I still don't fully know how we're going to work our system going forward. Three at the back, I feel like defensively it'll work fine, but I don't know how he's going to work it in an attacking sense of where Bruno's going to fit and who's going to be the wing backs and
He's a tough
all those
start, Mossy,
questions.
doesn't he? Yeah,
Ipswich way, yeah.
it just looked his opening 5 games. The 3 away games that he has are away to Ipswich. As I kind of pointed out here, he'll only have had the squad probably for potentially maybe
4 hours,
training
48, something like that.
sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but their next 2 away games are away at Arsenal, away at City. So it's going to be a tough start for him.
If
Actually,
that
And look,
if that lad comes and beats City again in the space twice in the space of a few weeks, that'll just be depressing.
Yeah, look, I don't think that's will be the case
It'll
now, to
take
be honest.
time.
I think
Yeah,
it's going to be a bit of a rocky road. But I think you have to accept that like to change the entire system with the players that obviously he's dealing with the players that are there, you probably adapt into a system and they're trying to learn a new system. And it is a very different layout and than the would previously. I think defensively it might benefit them, I think.
yeah.
But if you could get Lenny Yaro in there for with pace and Martinez and maybe Delay in the middle, I think that would be pretty solid and back three. With your wing backs, then I'd say still going to stick with that Mazraoui and Dallo, or if Luke Shaw's back, whenever that injury might go away, which keeps things
Mm.
going on, or
Yeah.
Malacia. Um, I think Garnacho's young enough that he could be adapted into it, but I just don't think Garnacho has the right uh, the mental. He's very much like I'm an attacking player. I'm going forward. I don't think he'll have the
Yeah.
discipline.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. He likes to play with 2 10. So I think it could be Abma Diallo who might benefit the most from his system because Diallo
What about
is
Mount?
probably
Maybe. No.
Mount
Mount could
or
fit in there, but look,
You can. Yeah.
I don't think I can
That would
genuinely
be
judge Mount
nice.
at United because I haven't seen
I
him
know.
be fit long enough to do it. But I like he could be perfectly suited for it. But I don't know with
Do you
Mount.
think? Yeah. Do you think that like I know obviously points is the name of the game, but like if it was a thing that, as you said, it's going to be turbulent enough because it's the natural given the time of the year that he's coming in with no preseason and all that. But if there was actually they were playing like decent stuff, there was actually a style of play, there was a bit of an identity. He maybe got rid of start maybe not playing lads that weren't putting in the shift if it's Rashford who else, and he kind of just was made a few changes like that. I think kind of United fans accept that, even if it was kind of topsy turvy points wise, where you may or may not end up in Europe. I think if there was, what do you think? I think a lot of them would be happy actually if they've seen them playing decent stuff week in
Yeah,
week
look,
out, and there was a bit of a style of
it's
play.
hard
Like,
to answer that because there's a cohort of Man United fans who still think that there should be winning the league every year and are oblivious to the fact that we've been off it for 11 years. Like,
hmm,
there is a cohort that expects him to come in and win us the league, and that's just cohort exists. And if they're
yeah,
not winning 3-0 every week, you hear they're giving out a line about United, etc. So, like, I think the moderates, as I'd like to call them, will more than likely be pretty understanding it's going to be rocky at times, but he's the most exciting appointment I think since Ferguson, in terms of potential. Um,
I would have
and to
said Mourinho.
see, I hate Mourinho. I have no time for
Really?
Mourinho whatsoever. I think he's a fucking horrible human being. Um,
Okay.
Jesus, Mossy, that's up there with my Celtic comments.
Honestly, just thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Well, look, his abrasive nature, his history of how he's treated people, particularly in Chelsea, he ruined that physio lady's name who can't remember his career. And just there's a lot of things in Mourinho that he goes up. Even the way he talked about the Turkish league, which are people paying his wages, has been smelly. I'm just like, the man has no class at all or respect. So yeah, I have no time for Mourinho. I didn't want him. I never was overly supportive of him, and he doesn't play great football. And there's not a lot to like about him other than he does create controversy, which can be entertaining at times. So yeah, for me, he's like a lot of positives. On the other hand, it's the United paid for him is I think actually Sporting paid more to release him from Braga, but the fee for him was the third most expensive for a manager, and the two ahead of him were Brendan Rodgers and Andres Villalobos, which don't exactly set
Wow.
a excellent precedent. So I'm hoping he would be an exception to those two. But
What was the
look,
fee? What was in the end? Or did the
for
payoff
him,
Ten
it's
Hag as
about
well?
11
Didn't it?
million. It's about 11
Yeah,
million. Yeah.
right. And did
Now,
the
I don't
payoff
think that
what?
includes his staff, etc. But for him, it's 11 million. I actually think Sporting played 12 to get him from Braga.
Yeah,
Right.
He was only
right.
6 months into his contract with Braga or something. But Sporting went for him then. Now, look, he's actually very inexperienced. Like Barry Sporting, he doesn't have a huge amount of experience. He only was 4 or 5 months at Braga. He was 6 months at Casapia. Like he doesn't have massive experience, so it's going to be a huge transition for him. But they just fact that the way his Sporting players behave towards him, they fought for him like they were 2-0 down going into the 89th minute or 2-2 going into the 89th minute in their last final game, and just kept going and going and won 4-2 in the end against Braga, which would be third in the league. So it would have been a pretty big important game for them.
Mm.
So like, I've been impressed with what I've heard. I've been impressed with how he spoke, and we will be understanding that there's going to be bumps in the road and the transition. And you can just hope that if he could hit the ground relatively decent run in Europe and get us somewhat near the top 7 or 8 based on where we are now and how difficult the league has become. you can't really expect too much more than that. To be honest, I think even that would be considered quite successful.
Enough. We shall see. To be continued. What's it call it? So weekend results. Brighton City covered Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. Notts Forest 1, Newcastle 3. Crystal Palace nil, Fulham 2. Emil set Rowe got 2 at the weekend. Did he get 2? He got 2, didn't
No,
he?
one
He
One.
was
Harris.
One
disallowed
was called,
for
yeah, one was ruled out,
VAR.
sorry. Spurs 1, Ipswich 2, which is a brilliant win for them. I was delighted for them. Then Brentford 3, Bournemouth 2. So, moving on now. What do you call it? Today, so David Coote, the Premier League referee,
Ooh.
got is now suspended pending investigation into a video that was leaked online by who? You'd love to know who leaked it, because I mean, I do. Did he have a falling out with his friend or something like that?
Probably the
But in
fella
the
next to him in the video.
yeah, it looks like what's his name? White for Arsenal.
Oh yeah, Ben
Ben
White.
White.
Looks a
Yeah.
little bit like,
Yeah.
but what do you call it? Yeah. So in the he basically derogatory, slanderous remarks about Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool as a team. So I just want to chat to you a few minutes about this. Howard, you are the kind of this
The
whole kind of
referee guy.
yeah. Basically, I just think of myself as well. So this came out today. Howard has been out in the previous few months with some of Ireland's top sports journalists. Howard has kind of for his main topic on this show all season long has been referees, and today a referee gets kind of done for on video. So I'm just wondering, Howard, like, what have you been up to? You know?
Yeah, I remember I sent like I sent it on to you earlier on just as the whole news story was breaking, and I didn't
Yeah.
know if it was real or one of these deep fakes and everything, but now it appears to be 100% real. So, yeah, kind of I suppose it comes back to the idea of everyone thinking that referees are so professional and good at their job and always thinking about the rules and the
Yeah.
professionalism of the game when we always talk on this on this podcast about maybe the unconscious biasness that they do when they make when they make decisions, and I think this video completely confirms that opinion that we have. Like remember the last day we were saying, oh maybe Arsenal aren't getting the rubber green because maybe the refs just don't like Arteta or they don't like the players and stuff like that. I think that kind of scenario does feed into their judgment and their decisions. And yeah, that's him gone now, man. Cute. He won't be back anytime soon. But I think like overall, I think the whole refereeing industry in England is just stinks. Like I think like this kind of mentality of like they're just one of the lads. Like what I mean.
Yeah.
They don't really they're there to referee the game, but they don't really hold that kind of regiment of rule and like by the letter of the law. They should be really strict on their professionalism on the game, and I just don't think they have that. And maybe they do in other
Well,
countries, but in England it just stinks. Like
they are human though at the end of the day as well. I'm just thinking like this was what do you call it? Obviously, it was in a he was off duty, so he was at home with a friend. He looked like
He
he
was
had a
off
he
beer.
it.
wasn't on Dewey anyway.
He
Or
looked
maybe
like
he
he had
was.
a
Yeah.
beer or two in him. So I mean, we're sitting around like having a drink and what do you call we're talking about football and we call a manager a dickhead or whatever. So, I mean, anyone can do that. That can happen anyway. It's just the fact that this was recorded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the only kind of thing here. So I mean, referees are human. They support football teams. So I mean, they have opinions on different players and different referees. I mean, he gave James Milner credit for being a good lad in the video, whereas he called Jurgen Klopp like a different word. So I mean, what's he call it? Like, is what he said. It's just the fact that he was caught. It's just the fact that it was videoed and it's been made public, as opposed to like, is it that bad what he has done? Like, he has called a manager a name. We've called managers loads of names. Fair enough, we're not refereeing these matches, but I mean, they are human. They have emotions at the end of the day. Like, I mean, he can't take emotion out of football. These are just, it is what it is. No, is there not an argument
Well,
there that
like
like he's been
it
stitched
shouldn't
up?
affect as long as it doesn't affect your decisions on the pitch. But like if you look at like jobs that like let's say if you're a diplomat or an ambassador for a country or something like that. Now I'm not saying referees have to be ambassadors for countries, but like the idea is like you are employed on that job because you do not have a biasness between one decision and the next decision. Like that is your job. Your job
Yeah,
is to not be biased, and there is people out there who are very good at that. They are very
yeah,
good at that. You're saying, oh, there's people, we're all human, blah blah blah. But like the people that they have in the positions there in that role are really not the personality and the mentality they have are not really suited to that job.
Yeah.
And it's just that's just the fact. And maybe we're lucky to have these referees, blah blah blah. But like in the end of the day, like pay them more money, pay them what they need to be paid, and just get better referees. Get people who actually need to do something in fucking some sort of educational degree to get into this. Like sift through and get the characteristics that you need to have a good referee. Because at the moment, I don't think they're up there with anywhere a good standard in Europe.
There is what you call it. Sky Sports have a report on David Coote as well, saying that like there's allegations of like this opinion of Jurgen Klopp in Liverpool, did it influence his refereeing of Liverpool Football Club? And I mean, there's no evidence to say it did, apart from this video that like that's his opinion on the person and the club. So I mean, Dan,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. Did you see the WhatsApp they're coming out with since? I'm surprised Howard didn't mention it.
No, go
But this
ahead.
is the bit that he loves. Is around. Is there a bit of a conspiracy here going
Oh,
against it?
really?
But it was interesting that some of the big calls. Were you following that after then against Liverpool?
No.
So
The
the
Odegaard
Odegaard
handball.
handball at
Yeah.
Anfield where he handled it was cute.
Oh, okay.
The Rodri handball against Everton that wasn't
That's
given
a massive one.
probably
That
cost
was a
Liverpool the league.
massive one. Like
Uh,
that was
Coote was
100% a
Coote.
handball. Like
Yeah, that was David Coote. And what was the other big one? Oh yeah, Pickford Van Dijk. He didn't check it. Remember that time that Pickford
Oh,
put Van
yeah,
Dijk
yeah,
out
yeah.
for. Yeah, he didn't check that one either. So I think that was three big ones. There's loads. I think there's a list of it, 10 of them.
I think the Rashford one was
They're
it
quite
when
big.
United got a goal that was offside. Remember that? I think it was against City. Was it? Remember, was there a goal?
Oh,
Yeah, it was.
there's another good one. Remember the Mane one against Liverpool against Everton? Mane got a last minute winner, and it was given with the lines that it was offside. But we actually go and look at about 40 different shots of it. That was Coots as well.
Wow.
So there's I don't know. Look, it's funny that second
Of
video
course,
came
yeah.
out within an hour or two later. There was, I'd say, any Liverpool guy who was on was going into this kind of thing was just like listing off all of these decisions that were like some of them were quite bad ones that in theory cost Liverpool league titles. You could argue, but it's just interesting just
Of course, yeah.
that this is
I think
this is
though,
the
like if you
narrative.
look, I think if you look for that evidence on any ref, you'd be
I'd
able to
say
piece
so.
together
Yeah,
connections.
it's so.
So I wouldn't put too much credence in that unless you could. Like, was it very apparent to you, Dan, if I'd said Coots to you, would you be like, oh, that ref is terrible for Liverpool? Would that have come to mind? Would that have been something
No,
very obvious to you?
I'm not. I move on quickly. I'm not like Howard. I kind of just move on. You just get on with it. Like,
I'm sure
Okay,
there's a
well, like,
video of Jared Gillett saying something about Arsenal. Like
isn't it interesting though to see that the way the
yeah,
manager treats an official
yeah, has a
can
big
have
impact.
a
Yeah,
consequence?
that's a very
Because
good
like
point. Yeah,
Klopp went after him, and look, fair enough. If someone started roaring me abuse to me, I don't think I'd be too like nice about it
Yeah.
and trying to put up with it. Like the Klopp wasn't behaving the way he should either, so he created a situation where he'd isolated and turned a referee possibly away against them. So
yeah,
I just thought that was an interesting thing from a
Yeah.
manager's point of view, that how
yeah,
you
yeah.
treat the
And,
officials and people in line with you can have an impact in the long
and
term.
and the other side of it is that back in time before social media existed, Alex Ferguson made a career out of it, but it was the other side of it. He bullied the shite out of them, and he got all the decisions.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
he definitely made a advantage of it, and he would openly say it like so. Like I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
no issues
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that or agreeing with that either.
But
But
no, but there is. You're right though. Like it's like I suppose as Jack is kind of pointing out there is as he's what he said quite. But I just think it's the position that he's holding. It's that the refs hold. I
yeah,
think
Yeah.
yeah. And look,
we
he's
all know
gone.
that refs
Everybody knows in
saying
this day and age, you can't use that sort of language. But I think the fact he called him
no.
German is really stepping over the line because it's straight into
Mm,
a race issue. So look, he's
yeah.
gone. Everybody knows he's gone. He's cancelled basically.
Should
And
he? Yeah,
the,
he
the,
is. That's the thing. He is. But should he
Yeah,
be?
yeah,
uh,
I
the
think
only
if he hadn't
yeah.
said that, I think he would have had a better chance of not being cancelled. But the fact he went
yeah.
into what was going
I
to be
think
a race issue means he's
Mm.
gone.
yeah,
The only big
yeah.
losers out of this really is Man United because he's a Man United fan. Could have given you a few nice soft decisions.
It says on
So
his what's it called? I
He
suppose
just doesn't he's anti-Liverpool. Yeah.
he's a Notts County fan. I thought. Like I was reading up
Yeah.
about it a little bit.
I'm
yeah,
sure
I'd
he
probably
is.
Yeah. Anyways, come here. Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah,
get your thoughts on that. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what actually comes of it. And because I think what's his name, Howard Webb, is on On is he on Monday Night Football tonight
And
talking
what
about
is he
it?
doing? Like, I
Yeah,
hate this shite. Like, sorry, but like, get them away from TV. Like, they don't need to be on
yeah,
TV. Like, this idea of making them like a highlight of a fucking thing. It's just,
yeah.
I actually disagree with you, Howard. I think
I think they
we
need to
say
be
that
in the
we don't get
background more. They don't
transparency
need to
from them.
be front and center.
You
Like,
don't get transparency from them. You don't hear from them. You don't. Whereas he's a spokesperson for them. He's supposed to speak for them,
we're
and he's
turning
supposed
them
to
into
lead the
stars.
PR man.
Like, you know what I
He's
mean?
turning
This is the
into
problem. We're
What?
turning them
he's
Yeah,
into
turning into star.
stars. Like, they're not supposed to be stars of the show. Like,
yeah. Can I
maybe
just
go on.
sorry, go on.
No, go on,
I was-
Dan.
Go on, you go on, Anthony. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, just I'm kind of you're both kind of disagreeing with the what. It was just interesting. I was listening to the Gary Lineker talk about the ref. Say, I don't know if you were listening to him speaking about it, but he can't understand why now we have co-com refs. He was going on the kind of a little mini rant about like why do we have refs on co-commentary, like coming in with an opinion. And a lot of time before the decision is gone to VAR, they're coming out with like, oh no, that's not a foul or that's not this, and then they're being made look like an idiot because they're getting an awful lot of them wrong. So he was kind of making the point, kind of what you're kind of saying, Howard, though, about like there's just too much power in it, they're involved too much. So that was just the
Mm.
point he was making that he thinks there's no place in co-commentary that they shouldn't have a ref for. They nearly have one for every game, don't they?
Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
nearly any
yeah,
big game
exactly.
anyway.
They have,
You know?
the match center thing that's on Twitter, and that's good. Like, it comes up, it just says
Mm,
why something was disallowed. Like, leave it at that.
yeah,
Like, they don't need to be interviewed or have, like it's just they're always going to have their own biases in it, and they're also influencing Sky Sports and everything about what they're saying. Like, Sky Sports are afraid to start calling them out because they've been told to start the season to keep your mouth shut if something bad about referees. So like, we're all fed the same rigmarole, but. I don't know. I don't think
they'll
I
Howard
have to
will.
actually
talk
done
about
for the job.
Coots. They're gonna have to talk about Coots now, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll,
yeah,
we'll
that'll be
know.
interesting. Yeah.
We will see. We will see where it goes.
Sorry,
Just a
yeah,
very
go on.
quick word in support of refs. I was a ref once. Right,
Yeah.
I was a ref for a couple of years, right? And just I showed up to a match once and I had forgotten my yellow and red card. I just forgot them. I couldn't find them. And this lad comes in with a flying tackle. It's an absolute red card, but I can't do a thing about it because I have no fucking cards in my pocket. Oh, everyone expected me to show the red. I can't do anything, so I just kind of give him a talking to and I let him off.
Oh, Jesus.
Everyone was just going, giving a fucking
Listen,
stick to me. But anyways, look, all refs make mistakes. Okay, we'll move on. We'll finish up with fantasy football. Dan, tell us, how the hell are you? Doing well?
Yeah,
Fantasy
Dan
football.
is flying up there. So he
Yeah,
is.
you've moved up.
I was actually I was joined leader up until the game yesterday. I can't remember which one it was with Paddy Carney, who I know, a fellow Navan man. He's a United fan, and he's
Yeah.
been there since the get go. And interesting, when I said it to him the first week, I was like, you're fucking starting really well there. He goes, it's all downhill from here. But in fairness to him, he's been there since the
He
get
has,
go. But
yeah.
yeah, I had a very good week. I transferred in Wisa, who
Oh,
had a
very good.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had Cunha in a couple of weeks. The Calvert-Lewin a couple of weeks ago, and I put in Smith Rowe there last week. So I had a big week, 79 points, and a lot of people again have Captain Haaland, which is and for the ones there's still a few people that don't have any Liverpool players, which I just find they must hate Liverpool a lot to not have any Liverpool players at this stage, like at all. So yeah, I'm up there. I'm 8 points off the lead, so I'm creeping closer and closer. You don't want to hit the front too soon.
Of
But
course, no, it's a marathon.
yeah, but no, it was a good week, and it was a bit of a point swing because a lot of others only, said who maybe didn't have a Liverpool player or maybe didn't have Salah. Like it's a few that have kind of maybe Diaz or whatever like that. But it's Salah that's been since the get go, and at the moment it's looking like my decision not to put in Haaland and go with him is looking decent at present.
If
But
you
if Salah,
if you hit the front, like
yeah.
would you be the kind of would you be a cocky leader? Would you be humble about it?
My brother said I'm arrogant at the moment. He said I was arrogant because I was trying to understand his concept of putting in all these Spurs players because I'm just like Spurs are Spursy. Why would you be putting in like Spurs defenders? Like they don't keep clean sheets. And it's like, oh yeah, just because you're doing well now, you're getting really arrogant. I was just trying to give him a bit of advice.
There you go. What about you
I
then, Mossy and Howard? Where are they?
I
Oh,
don't
dude,
know.
awful. I had
I
a
get
shocking
I get
week.
my magnifying glass out here now. No, hang on, I haven't seen that's
Like,
uh,
I think myself and
Thomas
Howard,
Kyo.
I'm
Oh
down to
yeah, you
like
had a bad
40
week,
or something.
Mossy. Fuck yeah, yeah, Mossy. You ended up with 29 points. I got 79, so that was a nice little 50 pointer there. The difference. Looking at your team here, Haaland captain. Yeah, Palmer, Palmer and Saka. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that wasn't good. And I see, who was your -4? Hang on, let me look at the transfers. Did you do yourself in? I know you took Diaz,
I brought in
Collins for him.
Liverpool
Yeah.
defenders. I brought
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
in
question
yeah,
like,
yeah.
are we supposed to? Should we
Virgil.
get rid of Haaland now? Like, you know what I mean? Is he?
I seen a
I
few.
yeah, I
I seen a
actually
few
was
start taking
messing
them out.
around with taking him out, and I
Keep the
still feel in
faith,
the long run it'll be worth the
of
pain
course.
for now.
Yeah, I think it probably will. Yeah, yeah. It's just like that. If Salah can keep going with them, it's like you're kind of, that was my whole theory, was if Salah can kind of keep chipping away, you obviously get more points if a midfielder scores. He's more likely. Haaland usually scores. He doesn't really assist anything. Haaland. It's like he
No.
score goals, but he won't get assists. But look, it's
Anytime I
still
get Salah
early
in, like
days.
he just starts playing terrible. So
Oh, put
I
him
might
in.
get him in.
You
I
put
might
him
get
in
him
there
in
again,
for
Howard, will
the
you?
sake of the league.
Uh,
Like
And looking at Howard's here as well,
six.
36,
I actually had
and you,
I had a good Saturday. I was up around 28 points, and I had a good few.
yeah.
Jackson, Palmer, Saka, and no, someone else to play. I can't remember, but yeah, didn't have none of the big lads turned out for me.
Very good.
So
Oh yeah, hang on 1 second, because I just want to find one here that I came across, and it just needs to be. I want to acknowledge it, so just give me a second.
No
Yes,
worries.
yeah, Owen Carberry, he's a regular listener
Oh,
to
yeah.
the show. Thought it was a good idea to put Solanke as his triple captain on the
oh,
weekend.
jeez.
So
Oh,
Triple
he
God.
didn't
Carberry,
score
if
though. He
Carberry,
scored one, got one disallowed
no,
as well
no,
for offside.
no, he didn't score. Didn't score.
Oh, was
He
disallowed for
missed the
offside, is it?
sitter.
Yeah, he missed a sitter as well, I think, and he won that was disallowed for handball, I think. So he is the triple captain on Solanke at home against Ipswich. So Carberry, I know you'll be listening. Need to just take a long hard look at yourself, son. Yeah. So look, that is pretty much fantasy football. A bit of a break now. So again, come back, see what way your team shapes up, and it's always hard after international break, especially with the anyone who has maybe South American players. There's always a
Yeah.
tendency that a lot of managers don't maybe play them on the first game back, especially if it's a Saturday game. So
Yeah.
keep an
Very
eye
good.
on that.
What
Yeah,
do you call
that,
it?
that is all she wrote. Oh,
Dan,
sorry, can I just give a shout out to
yeah.
Finbar Lynch?
What did
He won one
Finbar
of our
do?
competitions there last year. He got 86 points this week, so just thought that deserved a shout out as well. He had Isaac and Pedro
Oh, yeah.
as well.
The
So who would actually
undoing
we
of
did
Man City.
the undoing, yeah, yeah. So he got 86 points of that, which deserved a shout out. That's a fairly heavy haul. So that's
Very
all
good.
she wrote, yeah.
Listen, again, the winner of fantasy football they will receive a jersey of their choice. If it is to be Dan, I won't live that down. And yes, what do you call it? We won't do Super Six
Bring you
this
with
week
me. I bring you with me actually, and try it on the front of you.
fair enough, fair enough. I won't be giving it to you. I'll get someone else to buy it on my behalf. What do you call it? We won't do Super Six this week because there's a 2 week break. What do you call it? That kind of does it for this week, man. There's an international break coming up, so we're not on next Monday. So we'll be back this day 2 weeks. So, any other business to discuss before we finish up?
Well, one thing that broke during the pod there was that Gary Lineker is gone from Match of the Day at the end of the season. So
Oh,
people
Oh
really?
care.
wow.
Any
Yeah.
idea who's
Who's taking
taking
over?
over?
I
It's
don't
not
know.
Jermaine Genius, anyways.
Jermaine
Definitely not
Genius.
Jermaine Genius anyway.
Maybe there's an opportunity for Coot to get in there in the
Do,
old.
do you know? Do you,
Stop.
do you know what? It'd be interesting to see.
It'll be Mick guy.
I go for an early contender that will be a female.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't know whether like a lot. I know Laura Woods is pregnant. Maybe I could just see it that maybe that they might mix it up. It'd be hilarious if they gave it to Mika Richards.
It was just that, well,
Could
yeah,
be.
we could do.
Who
Yeah,
else do they have on that? But Danny Murphy. I'm trying to think. There's no real standouts. You'd say.
There's a guy who used to do the NFL. He presents sometimes on Sundays. I can't remember his name, but
Oh yes, yeah, that's
he's
right.
he's very good.
Yeah, yeah,
He's not a big name,
yeah.
like, but he's good.
what about They'd never give to Alan Shearer, would they? Or is he just good kind of it's like a pundit
Just
type thing?
pundit. Do you know what? I actually got in chair. I listened to the Prime. I watched the Liverpool game on Prime against Leverkusen, and he was on co-coms. Shearer. He's actually quite good. I think
Yeah.
he's quite knowledgeable. Like when in that position. Yeah. I thought he was actually very good on the that game. Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
here and often. I know he's BBC obviously. He's pundit or just co-comments for. I think he did it during the Euros, but yeah, I thought he was good in that role. It's interesting. Like, I actually think Mika Richards, if he didn't, outside of his personality, like in regards and analysis, he brings zero to the table.
Yeah.
No, that's why he'd be good as a presenter, I think. I think he'd
Yeah.
be lively and fun and bring that, but we'll
He,
see.
he was actually on, right. It's genuine. He was on the rest is football there with Lineker and Shearer, and he just kept talking about how he checked it. He looked up on Y Scout, like just the way he was talking, like it was just like oh yeah, I looked up a few clips there on Y Scout, and it's just the way he was talking about it. It's not like literally, you couldn't see him sitting down like doing maybe the Monday Night Football thing where they like get out
No,
yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're there with the what's it called, the pen and moving players here and there, whatever like that. No, I thought Graham Potter actually was very good. I don't know if you listen to him. I actually thought he's very knowledgeable, very good to listen to. I thought he was good at the weekend, and he was on Monday Night Football recently actually. So it'll be interesting to see does he get a route back into management now, because
I
he
you'd
definitely
imagine
has a fairly good pin for it.
you'd imagine he will.
And Lamps might be going somewhere that I see as well. Is it
Coventry,
Coventry? No, yeah.
interesting how the mighty have fallen.
Interesting.
You know, Coventry.
Only way is up.
Absolutely. All right. Listen, lads, thank you very much as always.
Cheers, Nick.
Enjoy the next Monday night off. And who are Ireland playing? Do we even know?
England, aren't they?
We're
England?
playing England.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And I didn't
Back
even know.
again, God.
All right.
Yeah,
Listen, lads,
it's the repeat fixtures in the Nations League. Yeah.
exciting times to be an Irish fan. All right. Listen, lads, congratulations to Drogheda as well, by the way. And listen, have a good week. Mind yourselves. Talk to you.
There's that.
Cheers, Nick.
guys.
Cheers. Good luck.
Cheers.